Hi, I'm Richard Petty. I'm a photographer in St. Louis, and this is how to pose people for photographs. The first thing you need to do is really take a good look at your subject and figure out what you want to do about posing them if you're just going to pose one person. Almost everybody has one eye that's a little bit higher than the other, and you don't notice this so much when you're in conversation with them, but in a picture it does show up. So you'll want to tilt their head to try to even out their eyes. The other thing is, if they're a little overweight, you want to turn them sideways to minimize the look of the weight. If they have a beautiful figure and are very slim, you might want to do a full-length picture. But with most people posing photographs, you're going to do a 3/4 length. That is generally from the waist on up to the top of their head. You want to turn them kind of at a 45-degree angle. And for women, you might want them to drop their shoulder toward the camera. This makes them look more feminine and maybe a little more vulnerable. It's best not to photograph people with their face straight on. You might want their face off at about a 30-degree angle with them looking at the camera if there's not too much white in their eyes. The other thing is, be sure you focus on the eyes because that's the center of attention on the picture. With men, sometimes if you square them off, they look more masculine. And that's always a good way to do it too. Some people even look good with their silhouette like this on the side. But it depends on your subject. You have to analyze your subject in order to get good results. And then if you're going to pose more than one person, the important tip is that you want to try to pose so that their eyes form a V or a W or an N. And the reason you do this is if the eyes are all at the same level, it's very difficult when you look at the picture to know where your eyes should go as the observer of the picture. And it makes a much better composition if you have people's eye levels all at different levels in the picture. It's easier to pose an odd number of people than it is to pose an even number of people. In a family group, start with the grandma and grandpa in the middle and maybe even sit them down, and then gather their children and then maybe sit their grandchildren down in front of them. And that's kind of the best way to do it. When I'm doing large groups, I like to do them in the park and not in the studio. Have a great time taking your pictures and posing your subjects, and I'm sure you'll get great results.